Why do people throw away friendships so easily nowadays? It's like I thought it was normal in relationships to fight and argue and try to work it out. Nowadays, people just be like, okay, I'm done with this friendship. I'm about to ghost you. I'm about to cut you off. They just don't hit you up no more. They just disappear out of your life. Like, I thought we were friends. How people throw away friendships so easily nowadays. That's why this generation is so lonely, because no one knows how to actually be a friend to each other, because they're out here looking for a friend that they probably is going to be hard to find, or because they just don't care enough for people anymore. And I feel like if anybody cuts you off or ghosts you is not a real friend, or was never a real friend to you. Because whatever the situation was, it's probably not that deep. And a lot of people just be hanging out with people because they just don't want to feel lonely. But they don't actually connect with you. They just simply stand there and just have a conversation with you. They just invite you to things so they don't feel lonely. But they don't actually like you as a person, as a friend. And they low-key don't really like you like that. And it's normal, especially in relationships. Like when you're dating your boyfriend or you're dating your girlfriend, like you guys are going to have something to fight about and argue with. And couples therapist is going to say like, oh, just work it out. Just communicate. And the thing is, when your therapist would tell you just communicate and apologize, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, that only works when the person actually wants to communicate, knows how to communicate, and they actually like you and want you in their life. But sometimes people don't want to communicate and don't actually want to apologize, and they just cut you off, never talk to you again. That's a fake friend. That wasn't really a friend from the beginning. They just tolerated you because you were just there. You were part of the group, or you're just however you guys are connected with. But some people just really don't care enough to really fix it. But real friends, they actually fix it and they work through it, and then they stay friends. But also it depends on why you guys are fighting and arguing, because sometimes it could be a really serious thing depending on what you did and what they did. I mean, if it was really bad, like betrayal, someone cheated, someone lied, someone manipulated, something very negatively and evil, if they did something actually evil to you, then I would see to cut them off and ghost them. That's understandable. But most of the time, it really just be miscommunication. It really could be just what someone said, but not what they did. Usually people, when they get mad at each other, they start cussing each other out. They say crazy stuff. They say heartless things like, why would you say that? But most of the time they just say that because they're just mad and they're not really aware of what they say. So then eventually you'll be like, I can't believe you said that. But what did I actually do to you? Nothing. I mean, it's okay to just not feel emotionally connected to somebody and just feel like, I don't really care much to fix this connection or friendship with them. So I'm just gonna just leave it alone and just move on with my life. And if they feel like doing that, let them. Let them just do what they feel like doing. People do what they feel like doing. They don't do unless they feel like they have to. Like, why do you feel like you have to be somebody's friend? But most of the time, it's more like, do you feel like being their friend? Do you feel like you love and you care about them? Because if you don't, then you're not going to have the desire to want to rekindle and fix the friendship. Sometimes people hurt you so badly to the point where you just move on. And most of the time people say things that could be very hurtful because they're mad, but they don't mean they mean. But most of the time people don't actually mean what they say when they say it. Like they could say something and not actually mean it. But they said it because they're just mad and they're in their emotions and they're not thinking. Because when you're on your emotions and when you're mad, people don't really think about what they're saying. They can't really grasp into what they're saying. They're just more so mad that they just say it. And you can really see who they are, what they say and what they do when they're mad as well. If you forgive them, then you should be aware of them. Be aware of, like, all right, I gotta keep you at a certain place and a certain distance because I'm not sure what you're gonna do and what you're gonna say to me next. But I forgive you, I guess. If you cut somebody off over something very little, or you got cut off over something very little, that's okay as long as you got peace in your life and you're not sitting there miserable because they're not in your life for no more. No, there's plenty of lonely people out here that don't have friends. Find those lonely people and just rebuild a new connection and let them live their life. You know what I'm saying? But okay, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.